Today, I am discussing the children's rights movement and the successes and failures that it has had throughout the years. And I'm going to start off with a little bit of history and what occurred with children before rights activists began forming. And they were seen as property by their fathers. They were used for work as soon as they could walk and talk, helping mom around the house with chores or going to work with dad. And they were expected to dress like adults too, as you can see the photo to the right of the screen. The children don't actually look like children. Children today, we know, have bright clothing and playful sayings on their t-shirts. And then towards the bottom of the page, you can see children working at a factory, and I can go on and on about child labor activists. All right, and then we have education, and Jean Rousseau and Kate Douglas Wiggin are activists from two completely different times, but they both shared very similar ideas. Education was more than just throwing a book in front of a child. It was allowing them to play and engage with each other, use their hands, and play with toys. Children were expected to just sit with their arms folded and listen to everything that an adult told them. As you can see at the bottom of the page, you see all the children sitting down in the classroom have their hands behind their backs. Imagine doing that today with a bunch of 5 and 6-year-olds. It would be absolute mayhem. They believe that forming social integrity makes a good human being, which it sure does, and having an imagination and playing with toys really builds that. And then next we have the Gabriel Fernandez story, on which everyone has probably heard about. It was a Netflix series that really brought it to light, but it's about an 8-year-old boy who was tortured and beat to death by his mother and mother's boyfriend, and they had CPS calls on them constantly during the entire mother's custody, which was about a year before he passed away, and no one ever looked into it. He cried for help to his teachers, to his family. No one listened, and you could see some demographics at the bottom of the slide of California and the domestic abuse on children in Californian homes, and you can see it by ethnicity. And Gabriel himself was Hispanic and Latino, and that is the highest demographic of abuse in California in 2019. And finally, we have developing countries. There has been a lot of progress in developing countries, such as UNICEF, which offers education, clean water, food, and protection in abusive circumstances in developing countries. But there seem to be bigger priorities in developing countries rather than fighting for children's rights. Mothers often don't know how to get or where to get the next meal for their children and family. And sex trafficking is also something very large within developing countries. It is a big moneymaker for the absolute wrong reason. And UNICEF is there to help fight against sex trafficking against vulnerable children. And that is it.